The purpose of this video is to provide sponsor personnel with site-facing roles with the information needed to get sites onboarded into SIP. Prior to reviewing this video, review the SIP site overview video, which explains about SIP and its various benefits for sites. There are two ways for a site to get onboarded into SIP. 1. Investigator onboarding. 2. Institution onboarding. With Investigator onboarding, sponsors send individual SIP invitations to each investigator and their staff. Most sponsors send invitations to investigators they have worked with in the past, investigators they are currently working with, and investigators they hope to work with on an upcoming study. With institution onboarding, a sponsor or Cognizant representative reaches out to the research director at an institution to bring the entire institution into SIP. Before a site staff member or investigator can register in SIP, they must receive an invitation. In our experience, sending a system-generated SIP invitation to a site without any personal communication to the individual yields a very low response rate. Approximately 30% of site users respond. If your organization or study team is utilizing the investigator onboarding process, the following practices can significantly improve registration success. Send the site a communication which describes the value of SIP and how it will be used. Sample communications are available as part of the SIP welcome packet. Confirm that facilities or departments are set up correctly. Confirm which site staff members will be using SIP and invite the staff before inviting the investigators. Confirm that the site staff member still works at the site and that their email address is correct. Before resending an invitation, let the site staff member know that it is coming and follow up to confirm receipt. While the investigator onboarding process can work well for investigators who are motivated to join SIP, it often does not yield results for investigators who have no immediate incentive to register. If a site has little or no experience with SIP, they often have a lot of questions about what it is, why it needs to be used, and the value of SIP to the site. Aside from the motivation factor for an individual investigator, there may be institution issues that need to be addressed before an investigator can register. In the United States and the EU, we have found that many investigators and staff will not or cannot register in SIP until the institution leadership has agreed to use SIP. This is particularly true for large academic research centers, SMOs, and site networks. Some of these sites even have a no portal policy in place. These institutions often have concerns about privacy, data security, and other legal questions. All of the institutions that have gone through the institution onboarding process have required changes in the way their facilities are set up in SIP. There are often duplicate facilities, and most departments are set up as facilities. It is critical that these facilities be corrected prior to onboarding investigators and their staff. Some of these institutions have technical issues, such as out-of-date browsers, firewalls which block receipt of SIP invitations, and other challenges that can only be addressed at the institution level. Large institutions have often made investments in their own technologies and are concerned that they will have duplicate work to maintain SIP. If you face any of these challenges with the sites you are working with, you may need to consider leveraging the institution onboarding process. To address these institution-level concerns, Cognizant created a SIP site onboarding team to support the onboarding of large research institutions into SIP. The team is currently assisting sponsors in onboarding 125 of the largest research institutions in the world. This team has created a repeatable onboarding process and tools which are being provided to you in this training. The institution onboarding process shifts the focus of onboarding from the investigators to the research director as the primary contact. The first phase of the institution onboarding process is called outreach. This involves gathering the existing facility or staff information from SIP, making initial contact with the site, providing an overview of SIP. The goal of the outreach phase is to gain buy-in from institution leadership that they are willing to adopt SIP. The second phase of the institution onboarding process is called preparation. This phase involves setting up the organization facility structure, meet with key individuals at the site to define or confirm how their facilities and departments need to be set up in SIP. It is critical that facilities be set up correctly prior to inviting the investigators and their staff to avoid investigators and their staff from becoming frustrated. Cognizant provides each site with a SIP welcome packet, which gives them all the tools and information they need to successfully bring their institution into SIP. You will review this welcome packet with them and explain the bulk invitation process. We also explain the things to do before you register, including clarifying how ExoStar supports SIP and what to do if the investigator has an existing ExoStar account. This ensures that the individuals who will be responsible for managing SIP at the site are prepared. When this meeting is complete, provide the final facility structure to the SIP help desk, who will set up or clean up the facilities in SIP. We suggest that you include yourself and the individual from the site who will be managing onboarding on this ticket, so that you both will be notified when the facility setup is complete. The last phase is called onboarding. During this phase, the key site contact sets up the departments in the system, invites the staff, and tracks staff registration in SIP. Before meeting with the institution, you should understand if anyone from the institution is already in SIP. Generate a list of facilities that are already in SIP. Identify any staff who have already registered or have been sent invitations. Most large institutions have one or more research directors who oversee and coordinate clinical research. Contact the research director to request a meeting. The institution onboarding materials includes a sample letter that can be sent to a research director or similar role. This letter focuses on the value of SIP. Request a meeting to provide an overview of SIP and the benefits of adopting SIP, including as many of the key decision makers as possible in this important call. Conduct a SIP overview. This presentation includes 4 segments. The SIP overview presentation. This is a 20-minute presentation which describes the history of SIP, the value to sites, and the process for onboarding. Slides are available in your institution onboarding material. SIP for Sites video. This video provides a demonstration of the system and describes the key benefits of SIP for sites. The video is approximately 20 minutes long. Question and answer session. The site onboarding FAQs document provides answers to the most frequently asked questions we get from sites. The presentation also provides context to escalate any additional questions. Next steps. Before closing this session, confirm the institution's willingness to onboard to SIP. Describe the next steps to complete the onboarding process. Next steps include confirm a date and time to confirm the SIP facility and department structure. Confirm the site contacts. You will need the research director or someone who understands in detail how the institution operates and who understands each step of the clinical research process. You will also need the individuals who will actually enter information and have a hands-on role in SIP. These individuals will be the OPM or FPM role in SIP. Send the SIP welcome package to the key contacts. The SIP welcome package includes a letter for the research director, sample communications to notify investigators and staff about SIP, training materials and FAQs to address any questions the institution may have about SIP. Prior to the meeting, send these contacts the list of facilities currently available in SIP and the facility setup training materials. Conduct a meeting with key individuals from the site to understand their facility and department structure and recommend a structure for them. Leverage the facility setup video and facility setup questionnaire, which describe how to conduct this discussion with an institution. Once the facility or department structure is defined, contact the SIP help desk to have any new facilities added to SIP, to update existing facilities, or add an FPM to a facility. The help desk will notify you and the site when the facility updates are completed. This generally takes up to a week. Some of these very large institutions, like academic research centers with multiple facilities, may need to be set up as an organization in SIP, which allows them to oversee all of their facilities and to leverage their staff. The remainder of the process can be completed by the site. Show the site where to access the institution onboarding video for FPMs and DPMs, and tell them how to get in touch with you if they have any questions. If the site requires assistance, SIP sponsors can assist by sending bulk invitations and tracking registrations. See the bulk invitation job aid for details.